Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to Eye of the Beholder. Today, we're going green. No, not that Green New Deal tree hugger BS, but the green dragon, who, according to Fizban the Fabulous, is the most dragon of dragons. Plus, look for a little surprise at the end. Green dragons lair in forest or jungle settings, where their green hide gives them perfect camouflage. Known for their long neck and sinuous bodies, they lack the horns of many of their draconic brethren, instead featuring a long fin that runs down their back. Manipulative and self-serving, greens take great pleasure in stalking their prey over hours or even days before they strike. Oftentimes, the first inkling a party has is when a cloud of poisonous chlorine gas wafts over them from the brush. Fun fact, like Mickey and Mallory in Natural Born Killers, after attacking, greens will often leave a survivor to spread the word to instill terror and gain notoriety throughout the land. We don't get our first green dragon until 2004's Aberrations set. Called simply a green dragon despite its size more suited to a wormling, it is a functional but not particularly noteworthy mini. Monochrome green with yellow highlights on the crest and wingtips, plus a bit of white for teeth is it for colors. The pose is exactly what you would get if you actually asked a dragon to pose for a picture. Just standing there pose, and lack of any real details doom this mini to mediocre status. Score: Paint 12, Pose 10, Playability 15, Pizzazz 10, for a score of 47. 2 years later, we get a larger green in 2006's War of the Dragon Queen set. As you can see, this mini has even less of a color palette than the previous, just a forest green with a bit of yellow for the eyes and fangs. The pose is much better though, sitting tall with his head whipped around to the side, gazing intently as if something just caught its eye. The scaling detail is excellent, particularly on the body and tail, and the signature neck fin is more prominent here as well. Score: Paint 12, Pose 17, Playability 18, Pizzazz 17, for a score of 64. We get our next green dragon in 2008 in a 5 miniature starter set. This is an interesting mini. Green body and wings, but with a yellow underbelly and eyes. However, its head is like nothing any other green dragon has, with an extremely pointed nose and spikes on the top and side, as well as running down the back in place of the standard fin. To me, I get Disney vibes from this mini. Look at the head again and tell me it doesn't remind you of the dragon from Fantasia. It's cool, to the point that I think WOTC had a mini but didn't know what to do with it, so they painted it green and put it in a starter set. Score: Paint 14, Pose 15, Playability 15, Pizzazz 17, for a score of 61. We get our first huge green dragon in 2009's Monster Manual Legendary Evil set. Called an Elder Green Dragon, we get a whopping 2 colors on this one. Dark green for the body, light green for the wings and underbelly, which, by the way, you can barely see due to the mini's low crouch. While I guess the crouching ideally fits for a dragon known for sneaking up on its prey, it does the mini no favors aesthetically. Let's face it, for a huge mini, it certainly appears small. Score: Paint 14, Pose 10, Playability 19, Pizzazz 11, for a score of 54. Like the black and blue dragons prior, WizKids gives us their first green dragon in 2014's inaugural Tyranny of Dragons set. I really like this mini. The lighter green of the body contrasts nicely with the light-colored underbelly. The posing is spectacular. Wings fully extended, forelegs outstretched, and talons spread wide as this green is about to rain chaos on somebody. Playability-wise, well, I know that when I put this mini on the table, I will have everybody's undivided attention. Score: Paint 21, pose 25, playability 24, pizzazz 24, for a score of 94. WizKids definitely had a pattern in 2014-2015. Release a large in-flight dragon in Tyranny of Dragons, then follow up with a smaller airborne dragon of the same color in Elemental Evil. And kudos to WizKids, each of the smaller dragons has unique posing. Here, the wings are swept forward of its head as if maneuvering for advantage, or perhaps to unleash its breath weapon. Paint is, other than the white underbelly, standard green, but it does have black wingtips. I like it more than the blue, but less than the black, so the score is paint 15, pose 22, playability 19, pizzazz 20, for a score of 76. We don't get another green until 6 years later in the most unexpected set, 2021's The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Meet Cradlefall, an integral part of the Witchlight adventure. Again, no spoilers here, let's just talk about the mini. Obviously a wormling, but much, much thinner than your average one. Up on his hind legs in either attack or defense posture, it's tough to make out many details. Paint, two-tone green. Playability, outside of the Witchlight saga, minimal. Pizzazz, Score, paint 11, pose 13, playability 10, pizzazz 12, for a score of 46. A year later, we get a more proper green dragon wormling in 2022's Fizzban's Treasury of Dragons set. Back to the original dark green body / light green underbelly, but with a bit of red in its gaping maw. Pose-wise, unlike the cute little blue wormling from the same set we talked about last time, this guy is in the middle of a hissy fit. He's clearly agitated about something, wings out, low to the ground, and fangs on display. He wants a piece of someone. Score, paint 14, pose 18, playability 18, pizzazz 17, for a score of 67. We close out our run of green dragons with this young green dragon from 2023's Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen. While the mottled green coloring with black claws and wingtips, nice elbow spikes by the way, are probably the most color correct of all the minis, it's a bit underwhelming paint-wise. The pose, however, more than makes up for it. What a dynamic pose. Honestly, I don't even want to describe it. Let's just bask in its glory. Score, paint 20, pose 25, playability 25, pizzazz 25, for a score of 95. And now for the surprise. Outside the big five, there are other chromatic dragons, and occasionally WOTC or WizKids will give us a mini for them. Let's take a look at one. The brown dragon are ferocious predators that live in the deep desert wastes of the world. First appearing in 1993's Monstrous Manual, browns are intelligent but generally incommunicative. They consider pretty much every living creature as food, and who talks to their food? Lacking wings, they make up for their lack of flight with the ability to burrow at twice their running speed. As you can imagine, that makes them unmatched ambush predators, exploding out of the sand to attack their prey. Oh yeah, they spit acid too. We get our one and only brown dragon in 2009's Legendary Evil set. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with this mini? Bueller? For a flightless dragon, that's a pretty impressive set of wings. WOTC really screwed the pooch on this mini, basically making it unplayable as a brown dragon. The coloring is right, detailing is nicely done, particularly on the tail, and it looks cool, but those wings. I guess we're stuck with it until WizKids gets around to making one. Score, paint 17, pose 16, playability 3, pizzazz 16, for a score of 52. And that's it. We're done for now. We will be tackling most everyone's favorite chromatic dragon, the reds, in our next video. Until then, thanks for watching Eye of the Beholder. And for anyone who's stumbled across these videos and wants to leave a message, please do. Goodbye for now.